So, hi everyone. We have Bhakti Thacker here with us, who recently scored a 750 score after a bit of struggle. I remember that because from the email responses and everything, that we had some back and forth. So, really outstanding achievement, particularly in verbal, because she'd been struggling a little more in verbal, as I remember. I'll just ask her.
Hi.
Hi. Absolutely wonderful to see you finally, because I think we've had some interactions over a period of time, and some of them not so pleasant as well as I
Yes.
remember.
Yes.
So tell me what your experience was like studying at top 1% and
Yeah.
how this feels, the overall score.
So brief background. So my husband was also a top GMAT student,
Hmm.
and he had scored 720.
Hmm.
He was in self-paced course,
Hmm.
and from the very beginning, so he got into Columbia very recently,
Oh,
and
wow. What's his
yeah,
name?
Raj Pajwani.
Oh, that's fabulous to know. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So when he was applying to Columbia at that time, I also decided that I wanted to do GMAT. I
Hmm.
wanted to do MBA, and hence GMAT. He had recommended from very start top GMAT, but I don't know why I did not listen to him, and I
Hmm.
went to some other classes. But I tried there, and it was not working out for me. And
Hmm.
then I took the mock session. I was very convinced that
Hmm.
top GMAT is the way. So then I joined top GMAT, and yeah, the journey was very good. And
Hmm.
I followed everything what Sir said, and that really helped me. And you can see the success.
All right. So just let me know, first of all, which were your stronger areas, which were your weaker areas, like
So
overall?
in fact, except CR, everything was weak for me.
Hmm.
Everything was a struggle. So in fact, one thing was that whichever your stronger areas are, if you are not constantly even practicing on that, it also becomes a weaker area. So you need
Hmm.
to. So one advice would be that you need to keep going through all the topics on regular basis rather than
Hmm.
just ignoring your strengths, because you need to keep on even strengthening your strengths.
So
So
one
that is
thing,
one
yeah,
thing.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
really, really nice that you just said that you need to continue to strengthen your strengths,
Yeah,
because normally
exactly.
people ignore those. And of late, I've seen this trend from many people who are very good at quant, but they're still not scoring so well in quant, especially because they neglect quant and study more of verbal. So as you said, except CR, all of them were weak areas. Why don't you take me through what exactly did you go through in, let's say, quant, SC, RC, and even CR? Like what
Yeah.
exactly was the content, approach, techniques followed, etc. Please tell.
So my basic method was that do the pre-work very rigorously, and in
Mhm.
fact master that. So don't do it for the sake of doing it.
Mhm.
Do it very sincerely, and
Right.
make notes of areas where you're going wrong. I used to,
Mhm.
Sir had suggested from the very first session to do error logs, and that was my base where I used to write down everywhere I used to go
Mhm.
wrong. And I had a book for formulae also, so that was really helping me in cons.
Mm.
So in the preparation side, first pre-work,
Mm.
I did all of that. Then once the classes were over, I did class guides and base videos. I
Mm.
found base videos extremely helpful. And I think one thing to note was that don't just go through the base videos to get the solutions. See how Sir does
Mm.
it. So that was one of the suggestions from one of the students from Top GMAT,
Mhm.
and I tried to follow it, and that was really helping me also. I could see the
So you
results.
do believe that we cover absolute basics as well, whatever is required, because some people
Yeah,
have this
yeah.
perception that the classes are definitely a little more advanced, but the basics are fully covered, right? Whatever is required
Yeah,
according to.
those class guides and those base videos are very good. So that should be your base. And
Right.
then the 700 to 800 level questions can add on to it.
Right.
So that's how I went for. I did not do any of the OGs because
Yeah.
from the very start, my husband had also suggested that whatever you do, don't go to solve all the questions that are out there in the
Mm.
world for GMAT.
Mm.
Whatever you do it right. And in fact, I did the same questions thrice. So I did
Mhm.
the class guide PDFs, I did
Mhm.
the class guide, the PDFs, and even 700 to 800 twice or thrice. So that was my strategy.
Right. So let me just understand, especially for quant, was quant
Yeah.
also a challenge for you?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was,
Okay.
yeah, especially geometry and
Mhm.
PNC in the very start.
Right.
Geometry can be still be a challenge for me, honestly.
Right, understandable. But you did go through everything and it helped you score a 50,
Yeah,
which is obviously one of the better scores out there. I mean, the
yeah,
second best anyway. How about SC? I know SC you struggled a lot with because
yeah.
I was answering some of your emails as well. So, what was the challenge with SC? Please tell
So
me.
for SC, the rules, just doing the rules repeatedly was not helping me, and execution
Mm,
was something that I was struggling. I was very thorough with the rules, but I was not able to implement them properly.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a challenge. But the SIRS methodology that go through for the first 250 questions, have your reasons on the sides, that helped me. And obviously a lot of practice that was giving me good results. But yeah, and timed practice. So because SC is one of those places where you should be able to do it in least amount of time, so that you
Right.
can get more time for RC. So I was trying to do everything in time practice, and that was leading to a lot of errors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at the end you have to do that. You have to build that time practice.
Right. How about reading comprehension? Because that also would have been a bit
Yeah.
of a challenge in the beginning.
So RC, surprisingly, the previous classes guys had suggested me that for every para that you read, make a summary, one line summary, and that was really a very nonsense idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like my time was getting wasted. I was getting very much tensed about my timing in RC. So simply I went through the Octave base video and the class, the session that you had taken. And after that, I went on those 5 SCs per day. I kept on doing it. In
Five
fact,
reading comprehension passages, you mean
yeah,
RCs? Yeah.
every day from that 700 to 800, and even class guides, and even LSAT, I finished. And in fact,
Right.
it was so good that I started enjoying RC. And I
I'm
had
so
no,
happy to know this. Really, really happy to know this. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And I went through the awareness videos also. So few of those awareness videos were also quite good. So they
Mm-hmm.
help you to get into that curious mode, and where you, so RC passages are quite interesting
Mm-hmm.
because they have good stories and good things to read.
Absolutely. But you're one of
I
the very
kept on
rare
doing it.
people who would be saying this to me, by the way. So I
Yeah.
must tell you this. Very,
So
very
that
fa
became my strength. It was just a big weakness area for me.
Mm,
But because I had done all the RC
mm.
passages, I was getting all the repeats in the mocks, and I started enjoying it so much because I'd done
Right,
so much of it.
right. And on the test day, did you feel any surprises, anything like particularly? Because you were part
So
of the live
cons, I
course.
was
So yeah, yeah, yeah.
quite. I found coins. So verbal was easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
Cons was a bigger weak area, and geometry. Again, once on geometry, I found it tricky, and I got stuck on it, and then timing became an issue. But yeah, I should have just let
You
go of
just
it.
you just moved on after that. After I mean, after some time, then
Yeah. So
you still
I.
got a 50, which is pretty decent.
Yeah.
So just asking.
Yeah, but I did take timing was an issue for me in the exam paper. I don't know why. It was not a big issue during mocks, but for
Mm-hmm.
cons, timing became an issue.
And apart from that one geometry question, would you say were there unusual things on the exam?
No, it was pretty good. It
And
was pretty
verbal
good.
also went pretty, no unusual stuff.
No
It went
unusual
smooth.
stuff. Verbal was quite smooth.
All right, that is fabulous to know. So, and we did look up your profile, and we know. So, where are you applying now? What is it? What the plan is?
So obviously the priority is Colombia because my
Yeah.
husband is going to be there. Except that both.
Hmm.
And yeah, so because I'm applying in R2, I'm just focusing on one exam, one college.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, and I just wanted to advise on mocks.
That's please
So
do, please.
I did only 5 mocks, and I was
Hmm.
happy that I just did only 5 mocks. So one of my friends had suggested me that while you're doing mocks, do a detailed analysis of questions you went wrong, questions where you took more amount of time,
Right.
and that really helped me.
Hmm.
So doing a lot of mocks, and obviously focusing on timing. So what will be your timing strategy on the exam day if you're reaching on this particular question, where what should be the time left on the clock?
Right.
All
Right.
those things look at, but don't go for crazy amount of mocks. At least I did not do that, and
No,
I
I'm
was
very
also not
happy to know
suggested to do
this.
that.
Right. Right. So, while you were doing the prep strategy, in ideal situation, let's say someone takes, how much time is enough? What would you advise students? Like, let's say every
Yeah,
day, if you're studying consistently, and how important is consistency according to
very, very important. I think discipline is the only thing. Guidance and discipline. Guidance top GMAT gives you, but then you should have that discipline to go through it, because GMAT is all about practice, 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 practice.
you?
So
Right.
every day I used to do 4 hours, and my work hours are crazy. My work hours
Mm.
start at 8, but then I used to rush to a library next doors, and I used to study for 4 hours every day, 3 hours every day. It doesn't matter. You have to give it a priority to succeed.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you'll be keeping on giving more and more attempts, and it
Right.
results will not come through.
Okay. And when you say that you had done some other courses and you had, what
Yeah,
is the difference you found? Let's say between the course that we have here and the other courses, in without
yeah,
naming them maybe, but you can just
yeah.
tell what the exact differences are. And if people are preparing, what should they do right now so that they also score well? What would you say?
So I think the strategy, your strategy of Octave, those shortcuts that you give, so they had cons videos where the explanation would go on for like 7 8 minutes, and that's just not gonna help you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why how you do it, trying to imbibe that was what helped me. Those
Mm-hmm.
classes were not helping me to imbibe the techniques, because I was not gonna able to ever perform the same way or do
Yeah, I
the
mean,
same
7 to 8
way in the
minutes on a
exam.
question, obviously, that
Yeah,
tells you that this is not going to work out for me. I mean, in fact, the
exactly.
other
And
way
for
around.
RC also, I mentioned that they told write a summary after every para you read. That
Mm.
is that is what it was just not working out for me.
So suppose somebody's stuck right now, because this is what people ask, that
Hmm.
I've done everything, I'm trying, but suppose somebody's stuck.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody's situation will be different. What do you think in retrospect really helped you and should help them as well? What would you say?
So I think GMAT is quite challenging and it is very exhaustive. And I'm
Mm.
a CA student, and I've
Okay,
given a lot
same.
of exams in my life, but I found it very challenging, because you need to be at it. You need to
Mm.
keep on doing it and push through. Like, you
Mm.
will have those hard days when you'll feel like, okay, I need to go home and I need to chill and watch Netflix.
Mm.
But you need to push
Mm.
yourself through. Otherwise, you'll be in this loop where you need to give more and more attempts. Rather than
Mm.
just push through, do it in 3 4 months, 5 months, whatever you need, and just
Mm.
finish it, rather than having to do it again all over. So that
Right.
is what I would advise.
Oh, definitely. So basically, you do feel that there is so much temptation to move away from it and do things
Yeah.
and so on, but you still feel that you just stuck to the task, and that's how you
Yeah.
could really do
Keep
this.
on pushing yourself. It's just so much important. Yeah. And
And
so your strategy team, your team also really helped to,
mhm,
like, whenever you get stuck, to contact to top
mhm.
GMAT team. I did that,
So
and
how
I
was the
was
support
very
in the emails and so on? Because I
very
know I have
good.
answered so many of yours, so I know very clearly.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
was a very bad student. I kept on emailing, and I used to get stuck on too many questions, especially for SC, as you mentioned,
right,
and
right.
even CR in the end, because I had neglected that topic for very long, because I thought, oh, I was good
Mm,
at it. And
mm,
in the end, I realized, okay, I'm missing out on even silliest of questions.
mhm,
So, but the top GMAT team, I got responses within one day. And even for strategy, I did one strategy
mhm.
call with Aman, and that also was very, very helpful. This was just 15 days before my exam, and I wanted a good strategy, and he
Right.
really helped me. So yeah, the team is very fabulous. I'm very happy
All
with
right.
all the support.
And are you doing your application work yourself, or is someone helping you? How
No,
are you going
I'll
about?
reach out to Audrey, sir.
Right, right. Thanks. So, Bhakti, really, really fantastic talking to you. I mean, great to see that you had your husband come over and he scored, and he's gone to an Ivy League school, and that is where you plan
Yeah.
to get as well. So, I'm very happy that you had the right experience, because despite the fact that he said join here, you joined somewhere else initially,
Yeah.
but you came back. So, it goes
Yeah,
on to
listen
show
to your
that. So,
partner.
it really worked out for you. I'm very happy for that, and all the very
Thank you
best for
so
your
much, sir, for all
applications.
the support.
Right, right. Bye bye.